Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today for an update on my favorite footwear. And this is for 2021 because the last video I did was in spring of 2020 and things have changed quite a bit. Some things are still the same, but other things have changed quite a bit since I shot that original video. So I wanted to go ahead and shoot this update specifically talking about the things I've changed, but also the things that stay the same for those of you who are new and didn't see my first video. Let me start off with my everyday shoes. My everyday shoes are the ones you're not seeing up here right now. One reason why is because I'm wearing one of the pairs right now. Let me go ahead and take one of them off. These were shoes I probably bought about at least a good 20 years ago. I'm sure I've had them longer than that. An old pair of Skechers. And in my last video, you would have seen a pair of black ones like that were similar, a different brand, where I had actually cut the back out. These did not come this way. These were a full shoe. Now for around here out on the deck, I like to keep a set of sneakers of some kind that don't have a back so I can slip my feet in and out of them at will because we don't wear our shoes on the carpet. I will wear them around the kitchen, but these are supposed to be shoes that I don't wear out in any messy, dirty areas. So it's okay to wear them through the kitchen, and the kitchen usually floor gets messy anyway because I'm always doing something in there. So my last pair in that other video, finally, I'd had them for so many years. I wore them until I couldn't wear them as regular shoes anymore, then turned them into my deck kitchen shoes, and now have finally had to throw them out because the soles were so thin. I mean, they're like paper thin. I finally threw them out, but I got a lot of use out of these. And now I don't wear sneakers like this almost never. Since I stopped wearing jeans and switched to skirts only, I just don't wear sneakers like this out and about. I'm gonna wear something that looks nicer with my skirts when I'm leaving the house. So now what I've been doing is, because buying a new set of shoes with the backs already cut out are so expensive anymore, that I've just been taking the sneakers I don't wear anymore one by one and cutting the backs out. I have another pair very similar to this, another pair of sneakers. I keep a pair next to, that pair stays next to my front door, so if I need to walk out onto the deck, I slip my feet into those, go out on the deck, and take care of my plants out there. I also have a different pair of boots that I keep for next to the front door that are a little easier to slip on. Not as easy to slip on as these, but easier to slip on than these particular ones, and I'll explain why when I get to that. And so anyway, these are the shoes that get wore the most because I'm mostly home and mostly walking around in the kitchen and out on the deck quite a bit. Now when it comes to walking out to the garden, I have a totally different set of boots that I picked up at a garage sale, and they were just a little too big for me, that I also cut the back out of. And then those are my slip-on boots for when I need to actually walk out into the backyard in the garden where all the chicken poop is. And so those don't come into the house, period. So I didn't bring them in here. I might still have a picture that I took last time, but if I don't, I'll get a picture of them. You can see they're just ugly, beat up, too big for me boots, but are just fine for me to walk around in the garden with. Basically turned them into garden clogs, and I think I paid $1 for them. And so those were perfect for that. One of the things I didn't show you is that Patrick actually cut the back out of these ones using his bandsaw. And then what I did was I hand stitched with some heavy thread. It wasn't easy to do because I had to stitch through the leather, but when you cut into shoes like this, you're gonna have this padding, and it's going to be like this when you first cut it. So I had to stitch all that together, or I wouldn't have been able to slip my foot in very easy. And plus it makes it look a little nicer and holds everything together. Now before I continue on, yes, I used to wear sandals a lot. I used to love sandals in the summertime, and I don't wear sandals anymore because they're just very rarely, only on super, super hot days. But most of the time, no, I do not wear sandals because they're just not practical. They're far more easy for me to get injured walking around in my garden wearing sandals. Now, as backups, I do have these shoes, which I really like, but I really hardly ever wear them. These do actually look cute with a couple of my skirts for, you know, and are a nice lightweight shoe to wear in the summertime. But if I had to, do it again and had to cut a shoe, this would probably be the next one, but I'm hoping by then I will find another pair at a garage sale that I don't mind cutting the backs out of. And then my other lightweight shoes that looks okay with wearing with some skirts that I probably had these for again at least 20 years are these Converse shoes that I bought at our local store. Not the most comfortable thing, but if I'm just wanting to something more lightweight and not wanting to wear boots when I go out, I might wear these. Talking about reusing flannel, recycling flannel for different purposes, I actually did do a video on making your own little insoles to add cushion to shoes that I'll link to down below. So that's what I have here, and I don't think I remembered to mention that was one of the uses for recycled flannel, is making your own insoles for your shoes or your boots if you need that little extra padding, or to make them fit better, because these are just a little too big for me. Now, as a backup, in case I thought I would give these ones a try. These are brand new. I did wear them once out in the front garden. And these aren't waterproof. They're not as heavy duty, but they're a lot cheaper than buying a brand new set of backless mules sneakers. And I'll link to them down below. They're pretty comfortable, very, very lightweight. These could make a good garden shoe if you're not walking around in a lot of moisture. They'll repel some, but this is kind of a woven top. But anyway, just a cheap little slip-on shoe I thought I'd give a try. Now, when it comes to going out to the property or going on any kind of hike or anything like that, obviously I'm not going to want to wear my backless shoes. I'm not going to want to wear my boots like this. These are the kind of boots I go for. I love these things. I don't remember what I paid for them, but I got a pretty good price because I have small enough feet that I could buy them in the kids department. And these are the perfect fit. I love these boots because they're a great all-season kind of boot, all-terrain kind of boot. They don't have a really thick, bulky tread, but it's enough tread for the kinds of stuff I would use it for. They are waterproof and they keep your feet pretty warm. So I can wear these in snow, which is rare that we get around here, but I can walk through water in them, and that's what's important around here with all our rain. I've walked through our creek at our property in these, and when we've been on hikes looking at other chunks of property, I've walked through different creeks and shallow rivers in these as well. And so these things were definitely well worth the money. And when I found a pair at a garage sale for $1 that somebody's daughter had grown out of, and they were practically brand new, they were a size bigger than this. I think these are a 3.5. The ones I found were a 4.5, and yes, they're a little bit loose, but those are perfect because they are a little bit looser for me to keep by the front door for when I need to step outside that way and I need something that's more waterproof. I can pretty quickly, easily slip my feet into them. I usually still can't do it handless, but I can get my feet into them quickly without having to do a whole bunch of lacing and unlacing. So those also stay by next to my front door along with that other pair of sneakers similar to the ones I'm wearing. Now for when I'm dressing up, that's what these boots are for. So I bought these when my oldest son got married. I bought these to go with my skirt. Their colors were mostly green and very rustic. And I love these. These are Justin boots. I've worn these actually quite a bit. Very comfortable boots. And then some of you may remember how I got scammed on a pair of Ariat boots that I thought I was buying from a US company. I thought I was buying Ariat boots. Well, I should have been buying Ariat boots because that's what I was being charged for. And that was what was being advertised. And instead, I ended up buying from some company that was pretending to be a US-based company when they weren't, and the boots came from China, and they were not Ariat boots and looked nothing like the boots I had ordered. And anyway, I have a video on that that I did about how to spot scam sites, whether it be through Facebook or even just a website you think looks legit. I did do some pretty thorough research to put that together so you know what to look for. And it wasn't one of those prices where it sounded too good to be true. It was $80 for those boots, which weren't boots, by the way. And that's about what I expected to pay for a good pair of boots when that's not even what they were. So anyway, I went through all that mess, and I did finally get my money refunded, and I explained how I went about finally getting my money refunded, because I know a lot of you in 2020 got scammed with canning lids and various other things, toys and so on, and I explained what I did to finally get my money back. It just so happened that we went into town and we were at, you know, my favorite farm and feed kind of store that they have in there, so I could pick up some more chicken feed, and they had these boots here on clearance, and they only had 3 pairs left, and one of those 3 pairs happened to be in my size. They fit me perfect. They're Ariat boots, and what you won't believe is I only paid $30 for them, because it was like 50% off the clearance price, and the clearance price was already worth it. So I saved myself 50 bucks that way. I initially had paid $80 for boots that were supposed to be Ariats, just to find out they were some cheap garbage. But anyway, I actually did finally end up with some Ariat boots, and I have to say, even though I've loved these Justin boots, and I didn't think I would like the Ariats as much because of the way these fit, I actually like the Ariat ones just a little better. These are the most comfortable boots like this that I have. Now, the reason I have these kind of boots, well, I'm short. I'm a pretty short person, and so I don't like the real tall ones. They might look nice, but they hit my calf. They're not practical for me. I don't like a real high heel or pointy toe. I like something that gives me a little more room in the toe, and something that if I did have to run in them, I don't have to worry about breaking my ankle. So I do try to look at practicality, even though I'm looking for things that look nice with my skirts when I'm trying to dress up a little bit more. I also, and by the way, these ones are the ones I'm going to wear in my youngest son's wedding next month, or by the time you're seeing this, it will be next month. I do still also try to look for something that's practical, not just nice looking, but practical at the same time. So obviously I'm not shooting for very, very dressy. I mean, high heels and all that junk, that's a thing of the past. I wore those 30-something years ago. I don't do that anymore. I think they're a waste of money, and they're bad for your feet and your legs in general. They're hard on your knees and your ankles, and they might look nice, but they're really not healthy to wear, and they're just not practical anyway. So this is what the kind of stuff I like to look at when I'm talking about a nicer boot. And if you watched my original video from 2020, I had a pair of kind of granny style boots. Those were some cheap boots, and I didn't care that they were cheap at the time. I really wanted leather, but it's hard to find leather boots in my size, and I did get a lot of use out of them. But not long after shooting that video, a big chunk of the sole completely came off of one of those boots. And now let's talk about socks. That's the other big thing that's changed since that original video. Because of that video, I had people telling me about Darn Tough. I had never heard of Darn Tough socks at that time, and so I did go look at them right away and was a little put off by the price. So it took me a long time to finally break down and invest in some, but as soon as I did, I was glad that I did, because a pair of Darn Tough socks can cost as much as a cheap pair of shoes like this. However, the thing about Darn Tough socks is they're made right here in the US, and they are guaranteed for life. And I've been wearing this pair and the pair that I've got on right now. They're my 2 oldest pairs. I've been wearing them for 8 months straight. Not one sign of wear in them. And with that lifetime guarantee, I figure that alone should make it worth it. But I never have socks, even Smart Wool brand socks, last me that long, 8 months, because I'm on my feet so much, moving around so much, that I usually wear holes in my socks pretty quickly. So I have been so incredibly pleased with these, and I have several pairs now, because I was buying myself like a couple pairs every month, and just to stock up on them. And so these are just examples of some of the pairs that I have right here. And mostly been trying to stick with wearing the 2 oldest ones the most, so I can better keep track at how much wear they're getting and how long they're lasting. And so far, I am still very, very pleased with them. No signs of wear. It's just amazing. And so much so that I did start investing in some for Patrick, and he likes them quite a bit too. So I have a few pairs for him. Now, since I shot a video talking about the Darn Tough socks, because I did do a video just on these, I have since been able to set up an affiliate account directly with Darn Tough, which will be good for those who are boycotting Amazon and would prefer to buy directly from the US based company. And again, they're great socks. I highly recommend it. I've mentioned them in a few videos because it's one of those things, if you're going to invest in new socks, which everybody should always have a good supply of socks and things like that on hand, invest in something that's going to last a long time. But even if they don't, I have a video on how to darn socks. But I don't think I'll have to ever darn these socks. And even if I do, I think it's going to be a long, long time before it gets to that point. So anyway, that's my update on my favorite footwear for 2021. Hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to check out the other videos I'll be linking to down below. And if you have any ideas, what are your favorite brands of socks, or do you like to make your own socks? What's your favorite brands of shoes or boots or styles that you like to wear? Go ahead and share that with us down below. Besides, that was how I learned about the Darn Tough socks to begin with. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.